Over the lifespan of Overwatch 2, we've seen many buffs and nerfs to a lot of the heroes. Genji was amazing at the start of Season 1, and now he's, well, he's still in the roster, I guess. Doomfist used to be mediocre, and now he's slightly less mediocre. Anyways, you get the point. One hero that was supposedly nerfed is Sojourn, but it really doesn't feel like it. Yes, Railgun might not one-shot at 100% anymore, but considering that you can charge it by dealing damage to enemies, you can secure kills with it super easily. In this video, I'm going to tell you how you can do exactly that and more to get the most value out of her and hopefully get you climbing in the ranks. But first, I'm going to ask you to subscribe and leave a like on this video, as I want to continue making Overwatch 2 related content that's not only entertaining, but educational too. First things first, as usual in every guide, kit breakdown, because it's important to know what does what. She has two fire rates. One is a fully automatic assault rifle, much like Soldier's gun, but the alternate fire rate is a charged railgun shot that you charge up by damaging your enemies. Her two main abilities are Power Slide, which is great for both vertical and on the ground movement, as it can be used to launch into a high jump, and Disruptor Shot, which is a large AoE damaging orb. She has a very simple kit, but don't be fooled, it can be a bit tricky knowing when to use what ability. This brings me on to my first tip on learning how to play Sojourn, and that's to damage your enemies constantly from the off angle. I've talked about the off angle in a few of my videos before, but this especially applies to Sojourn because of how much damage she can do. If your team are attacking the enemy from one angle, try to attack on the other side of the fight or even on the flank so you can secure kills a lot easier. The enemies won't be paying attention to you, so that gives you the perfect opportunity to absolutely dome them. If they do start paying attention to you, then you have your Power Slide to get back to the rest of your team and, most importantly, back to your supports so you can stay in the fight for longer. Constantly damaging your enemy also means that your railgun shot is always going to be there for you to use as and when you need to use it. This brings me on to my second tip for learning how to play Sojourn, and that's to use your railgun on enemies that are around half health or lower. As I mentioned before, a few seasons ago, they nerfed how much damage your railgun shot deals because it used to be stupidly strong. Don't get me wrong, it's still stupidly strong, but now you need to deal a fair bit of damage for it to be able to secure kills. The most important thing is that you can crit with your railgun shot too, so aim to hit headshots where possible. If you can't, then don't worry, as using your railgun doesn't use up any of your ammo, so you can follow up with just shooting your enemy normally if you need to. My third tip for learning how to play Sojourn is to understand when you should use Overclock, your ult, to get the most value out of it in a fight. Overclock is a stupidly good ult because of how much damage it can do. Your railgun shot constantly charges without you having to deal damage to your enemies, so you can deal a bunch of damage very fast. The best time to do this is in a big team fight where your teammates are helping you with damaging the enemy team, as it makes securing kills a lot easier. Again, when using this ult, you're going to want to be on the off angle so you don't die when it's active. The high ground is your best friend since your railgun is basically a sniper. It has amazing range, so you should take advantage of that. My fourth and final tip for learning how to play Sojourn is to use your Disruptor Shot to force the enemy team to play where you want them to. Disruptor Shot is amazing at making space because your enemies don't want to stand in a big AoE damaging pool, so they'll scatter and start playing somewhere else, if they're smart. This means you can effectively make the enemy team play how you want them to play. For example, you can put your Disruptor Shot on the payload or objective to force them to play away from the objective, allowing your team to push up and take control of the fight, potentially causing you to win because you have the upper hand on the objective. You get kills very rarely with this ability, but it does make the enemy team make some stupid plays which allow you to come out on top. And that just about does it for my guide on how to play Sojourn. Despite all of the nerfs she's received in the past, she's still absolutely amazing in terms of her damage output. I mean, dropping 10k damage with her is super easy because Railgun is an amazing ability. It allows you to secure kills and deal a bunch of damage so easily, and is earned by dealing damage. She's a very brain-off DPS for the most part, but I will admit that she does take at least a little bit of skill to master her because you have to have decent aim and know when to use which ability. But once you've done that, you become practically unstoppable. Anyways, that's the end of this video. Once again, I'm going to ask you to like this video as it lets me know that you find these videos not only to be helpful, but entertaining. Let me know if you have any requests for other heroes on the comments below, and subscribe so you don't miss that guide when it comes out. There are some heroes that I probably won't be able to make a guide on simply because I don't play them enough, but there are many more heroes on the list that I can make guides on than I can't make guides on. Finally, have a nice day or night if you're watching this at night, and make sure to check out my other videos. Not only will I appreciate it, but you might too.